Garden update 15th of October 2025. I've just noticed big bit of sticky weed here, so I'll try and get that out while we're here. This is obviously the side garden. It's going to need a bit more work than I can really do at the moment, but I'll get a bit of it out anyway. So this garden bed has got a lot of growth in it that is unintended, obviously, the sticky weed being one of the things. There are a number of other bits and pieces in here as well. So, not sure what this is. Excuse the magpies, I think it's some young magpies. The lupin, however, is starting to come along nicely. The gazania's doing well, and the gladioli are starting to come up. So that's quite good. We'll move around to the front. Starting around the front, a bit closer to the driveway this time. I really should remember what the plants are, but this bush, which I've cut back a few times, has got a nice lot of flowers on it now. Lovely blue flowers too, which is a bit more interesting than others. The aquilegia are coming out, which is nice. Again, I've got more of the gladioli. These are actually ones that were originally over near the original lilium bed, and I sort of took out the bulbs and spread them around a bit because there were ones that were growing. They'd expanded basically, they'd grown some more bulbs, so I thought I'd spread them around a bit. So I've got a bit of colour coming in here. The lavender's put on a nice bit of colour as well. We've got bees buzzing about. Come around the front. These ones come out quite well. I think those are not the winter rouge. Where were the winter rouge? Anyway, so those are the Australian natives. Those two big ones there. You have some poppies growing in here, and I've started expanding the front garden bed around this way with the fencing. That's a hedge plant that I bought some time ago. They didn't really grow particularly well. This one's actually doing a bit better. That one was already looking a bit sort of unwell. You can see one of the other ones there. That'll get dug out and put into the new bed when I put it together. I did have some seedlings here. Some of them are doing well. I think that one's a cosmos. Other ones less well. You can see the other ones. They probably need a bit of water, but also I think I might have put them out a bit too early. But that's okay. I've got some more seedlings. I'll just grow them on. There's a delphinium there, dark across. And we might do this one from the opposite side. Oh yes, the opulence is starting to flower, which is nice. Now the main thing I want to get here, if I can find, actually that is it there. Behind what I believe are probably a bunch of weeds and things here. That should be the dahlia. This started to come up here, which is nice. Now the problem with this bed is that it's been here for a while now, and I actually put a bunch of seeds in it when I first started it, but they didn't do anything because it was too cold. Now, of course, we're getting into the warmer months. Today's supposed to be about 23 degrees, and so some of the seeds are actually starting to come up, and there are flowers that I do want, but I suspect there are also a lot of weeds in here as well. That would be a weed, as there's a little bit next to it, so I've been picking them out as I find them when I'm aware that they're weeds, but otherwise it's just going to have to sort of grow on for the moment. Here's my apple tree that I've grown from seed. It's very, very narrow, that one. It hasn't really branched out much, but I'm hoping that this year I might put on some side growth. The white ones here, are most likely going to be from the seeds that I took from there and scattered here, which is nice. Get a bit of that colour. I was going to say that's a snapdragon, but I'm not entirely sure actually. But that would be most likely some of the seeds that I dropped in here. Actually, it looks like it might be the same plant as there, but this has come up with a pink colour, which is nice. Quite like that. Very good. And over here, some more, I believe, gladioli. End of some tulips there. Some more bits of colour in amongst it all. And I'm not entirely sure what those ones are, unless those are gladioli as well. which they could be. I did spread some of them out, but they seem to be all yellow. Yeah, we'll see. At least they're coming along nicely, which is good. Now, in terms of this bit over here, so we've got some alyssum there, which is nice, or gladioli. Now there were, yeah, you can see there actually, I've just noticed there, a bit of green growth there. So these are dahlias, these are the ones from seed. It actually looks like they are coming up, so they just needed a little bit more time, because that might actually be a bit of one there. So it might not be, but that I'd say definitely is. So that's good. That's a bit of a surprise. Pleasant surprise, that's good. Over here. Now those are definitely snapdragons. A nice bit of colour to them there. The hollyhock is coming back again, so this is the second year for this one, I think. Some more snapdragons, some more alyssum, weeds. We ignore those. This is the original lupin, and some of them got scattered here. So again, a bunch of weeds here. Pick those out or just leave them in, doesn't really matter, it's all greenery, it's fine. But obviously the hollyhock's going to sort of come up, and the lupin should come up and provide a nice bit of colour. The stone fruit trees, unfortunately, are getting their leaf curl back again. I did spray these, but I only sprayed them once. I have a feeling I'm supposed to spray them twice. It was the liquid copper treatment, whatever it is. Number of aquilegia in here as well. They're sort of popping up. Obviously they don't get as much direct sun as often, so they haven't flowered yet. The Daphne is spreading out quite a bit there. That's all good. The original alyssum patch is still going alright. We've got some of these bits that I should probably trim back, I guess, but for the most part that one's been there for, I think, 3, maybe 4 years now, so it's doing well. My lovely sort of raspberry ripple rose is coming along well. Looks like we might be getting our first buds starting to form there, so that's good. And this is the bed that I was talking about. This is the original lilium bed. So I've spread a number of those lilium bulbs around as well. Again, lots of weeds. A lot of this is actually, I believe, Nigella, because that just self-seeds everywhere. You've got the bird bath flower bed. It's got a nice bit of colour in it at the moment. Oh, I'll just do a quick. The lime tree is still alive. So I've given a nice little thing here. I've been trying to make sure that the trunk is clear of any of the mulch. That should be alright. And the lemon tree, which was planted about the same time, is doing its little thing. Let's get rid of that. It's always satisfying when you get the root ball. And we'll go around the back. So, we have the geranium, which is flowering nicely. We have a lettuce there, I think. Oh, yeah, there's another lettuce there. We have a number of poppies that are growing here. I can't remember if I was silly enough to have scattered some seed here, quite possibly, or if it's just happenstance from other areas. But I'm not too fussed at the moment. I don't have anything to particularly plant out in those areas, but at some point I am going to have to create some more space for crops. Obviously there are a number of weeds in amongst there, but there are also potatoes in there, and some of those are actually the ones that I bought, as this is the first year I've actually bought seed potatoes, so we'll see how that goes. The grapevine has started to show signs of life again, which is good. It's amazing how dead it looks when it's dormant, for it to then come back to life and look vibrant again. We have many alliums around here, and I say it that way because I think they're mostly leeks, but I might also have planted some garlic around here. I'm not entirely certain, so we'll have a look at those later. Well, as in I'll find out what they are later when I go to pick them. I've got my rainbow chard here, which is actually doing all right. It's somewhat neat and actually all together as well, because I'm trying to start growing things in a more organised manner. That would most likely be a self-seeded potato, which is fine. It just happens to be in amongst my corn there, or one of my crops of corn. I have a number of broad beans that I've planted. Not super big on broad beans, but I think that's just because I'm not really aware of how to prepare them, or the best way to prepare them, and what to use them for. So if anyone's got any tips, I'm happy to give them a try. I pulled down the celery. Well, I didn't pull down all the celery because that one's still growing, but the celery, which is looking all nice and thick, in fact, I can probably, you can see the snails in there too. Let's grab one of these off. So nice celery. In fact, actually that one is quite nice and clean, but it turned out, you might be able to see, it's popular with the snails. So I had some at the bottom there, but it had a whole bunch of shadow, oh no. Had a whole bunch of snail excrement on it, and I was reading, and it looks like you basically should avoid that because there can be some nasty stuff in it. So I had to basically throw out a whole bunch of it, which is a shame, but that's just the way it goes. I've got more corn over here, and this part, as you can see, tends to be shaded for a bit longer, obviously because of the fence, but that's why I've got 2 lots, so I'm not too concerned about that. This I might actually have to pull out of the way. Hang on. I'll pull this out now, but I'll do it kind of like the old chop and drop, only because I actually have some crops here that I planted intentionally. So this is what I was meaning about. I'm starting to plant things in a bit of an organised manner. So these are here, I can't remember what they are though. It's a nice purple colour to them, so they could be kohlrabi, they could also be broccoli or cauliflower. I can't remember which, but that's fine. They're part of the brassica family anyway, and they'll come up nicely. I think I put some lettuce in around here. I don't know if they've survived though, but that's okay. That'd be a carrot. I just want to have a quick check over here, because first of all, I'm pretty sure that's a weed, so we'll just pluck that out, and that one. Yeah, so in amongst here I have a couple of onions. So these ones, the original stalks basically died back. You can see now they've actually grown 2 each, but that's fine. I think that's another one there. So that's all right, those have been grown from seed, so that's quite good. Yes. I was just reminded that I have some work to do over here. Let's come past all these bits. Again, alliums, can't remember what exactly. And I think actually I might have some, I think these might just be flower bulbs. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see how they go, because if they produce a flower spike and it looks like an allium, I can then figure out what to do with them. Parsley, still doing well. That, I believe, is a celery. That one's actually away from snails, so that's okay. That'd be a potato. Some more broad beans. Snow peas, which my youngest keeps picking, so the rest of us don't really get a chance, but that's okay. And of the numerous lettuce that I've planted here, obviously some have survived, so that's good. Needs water, obviously, as well. Some snow peas again. And the red grape is growing quite nicely. Obviously this one's getting a lot more sun, which is probably why it's put on a lot more growth, but the bit of work that I needed to do, I'm probably too late for it, is here. My rhubarb has flowered, but that's okay, because apparently you snap them off at the base and that should help it put its growth back into, oh, that's a decent one, back into the main part. So there we go. So the rest of those, I think, are devoid of, that one's pretty loose, I'll get rid of that one as well. The rest of those, I think, are devoid of any flower stems, so that should be alright. The main gooseberry plant is doing well. The bamboo, it's alive. It still doesn't seem to be gaining any growth, like any height, but that's alright. I'm just dropping those there, they're fine. I don't remember what brassicas these are, but they're fine as well. Actually, over here we have a weed there, but you can actually see that's starting to flower, and I'm pretty sure that's, let's make a bit of room here. It's one of those ones I'm not sure. I'd say that's an onion. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'll take that. I guess call it a spring onion or something. That's alright. Now, over here, so we have some snapdragons. And got some more snapdragons. But then we have this plant. Now, I have a little app that tells me, well, it gives a hint as to what plants are. Things like Plant Identity Net or something like that. I've put this one into it, and based on the leaves, one of the suggestions it has is opium poppy. Now, obviously, I do have some poppies in the garden, and I'm wondering if maybe some of the seeds have somehow got mixed in, and they are actually opium poppies. They shouldn't be, because you need to. You can only grow those in certain places with, I think, legal permission to do so because they're opium poppies. But otherwise, I'm not entirely sure what these are. So I don't know whether these are weeds. I suspect not, because they're very unique, and I don't remember seeing them before, or what they are. But I'll just leave them for the moment because I don't need this bed for anything else. Particularly, it's basically just meant to be floral, and maybe eventually, if I can get my kiwi fruit going well, it can become a kiwi fruit bed. But we'll see. And over here we have the Josterberry, or Yosterberry. I'm not actually sure how it's pronounced, but I have heard someone else call it Yosterberry. Michael of Michael's Gardening. I've just noticed, starting to get the hints of some berries there, so it's exciting. I have a number more snapdragons in here. I believe these were daffodils here, so that's fine. We have, I think that's the Johnny Jump Up viola. The blueberry is starting to put on some growth now, which is excellent. And one at the back there, that's another gooseberry. That was from a trimmed branch of the main heart. Again, I suspect that's a lot of nigella. This is the fruit tree that was growing in the garden bed around the side and the back, that was growing near my 2 apple trees that I was growing from seed. I transplanted it when it was still dormant, and successfully this time, because that's actually obviously growing, which is great. There's the main apple tree. This is the one that was bought as I think it's a hybrid, not a hybrid, where they cut the two and join the one. No, you know what I mean. The one where it's basically, it's the amalgamation of the two. You use the trunk of one, split it, put the other one into it. It'll probably come to me later, but anyway. So that's a Granny Smith one that has produced fruit. Not necessarily a lot, but it has produced some. And I've taken cuttings of that. That's the one that's got cuttings that are growing around the place. Anyway, I'll get back to that in a moment. The pond has been cleaned a little bit. So the main black moorfish is actually fine. It turned out, I think it was basically just it was having a bit of trouble getting amongst all the weeds and things like that. Well, weeds, the growth, the algae and things like that. So I cleared it up a bit and it seemed a lot better. It probably needs another clean, but it is looking a lot better. The small fish there, the cloud whites, they're still out and about as well. We have some of the nigella that's actually flowered. The raspberry canes are coming along, which is good. And this is what I was meaning about the apple tree. So I took a bunch of cuttings, and they're actually growing as well. Same with these. These are more of those gooseberry cuttings. Here is one of my seed potatoes that I'm trying in the bucket method. So that's the beachy ones. And in here, I've actually got growth of the pink fir apple. So that's awesome. So I'll go into the greenhouse, and while I'm in here, I'll put the onion, which it says kind of basically like a shallot, isn't it? So that's all right. I'll grow that. Not grow that. We'll use that. Okay, so my seed growing is still pretty hit and miss at the moment, but we're working with it. This one, I'm running out of potting mix, so I've sort of recycled some of it. They're fairly recently put in, I think, so I don't entirely expect them to do well. Not do well. I don't expect to see much there yet. Same here, actually. I think these are fairly recently added. This is the new. Oh, there we go. The new propagator. That's what it is. Memory. So this one's actually got some coming up. So we've got, obviously, these milk jug bottles. I basically cut strips of them, and then I've been using this Empire Worksite marker to put them on. I got that for free. Someone was throwing it out. And so what I do is I write them on, obviously, the bits of milk jug, but then I keep them. Now, obviously, for Gadesha azalea, I possibly won't be growing that every year, but something like a silver beet or chard. I most likely will probably grow that each year, so that's something that I can just keep and stick in my little box here, box or tub. Unfortunately, for some reason, I've got 2 of poppy peony, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, back to where we were. So we have some cauliflower, which I think is actually purple cauliflower, because I wanted to try some different options this year. We've got cucumber, and another cucumber, and then here's obviously some weeds. This is actually basically soil from, I think, actually over there. So it has a mix of old spent potting mix and compost and things like that, and some soil. So there will be weeds in here. However, we can see that these are the actual things. So there's some cabbage. Again, there might actually be purple cabbage, or that one that sort of spirals up and things, which would be nice. We've got some salvia, which looks like it's actually growing, so that's nice. Nothing quite yet there, and nothing quite yet there. So it's tomatoes, which could just be the temperature. It needs a bit more warmth or a bit longer to come up, and that's okay. This one, well, they probably need a bit more water, but that's all right. Actually, you can see there, the loofah appears to be coming up. So that's excellent. So the loofah I wanted to try. One, because I am actually curious to try taste-wise. I suspect it's not going to be great, but you can actually eat them if they're early on. So I thought that could be interesting. But also I really want to get the spongy part from it to give that a try. Now, what we have here is pumpkin. So this is the sugar small pumpkin, I think is what it's called. This is the one that is supposedly the pumpkin of choice for making pumpkin pie. So I've made pumpkin pie before, but I've basically just grown butternut pumpkins, which I haven't actually planted any seeds from recently, so I'll have to get some of those going. But this I've done correctly, in as much as started in one of these, much like the cucumber there, and then I potted it on. That was a big move. As you can see, I've done a similar sort of thing here with the zucchini. Actually, no, that one started. Actually, that one just started in there. That's the other one, the watermelon. So this is a similar sort of thing. Once it actually got to a reasonable height, instead of just going straight to the garden, I put it in a pot, and so hopefully that will do all right. An example of that may or may not succeed is cayenne pepper that I've got there. In fact, 1 or 2 seeds that were with that, or seedlings, have gone, but that looks like it might still be all right. So we'll see how that goes. And I need to put this out. I'm still not entirely sure where it's going to go, but that's my lavender grosso, which is I think one of the nice flower spikes, and it should be the most aromatic of the ones that I've got, which would be nice. We have some platycode there, which probably need a bit more water. That's fine. Some freshly planted zinnias. So these are the ones that were in that front garden bed, the one that I've newly created. So these I might pot on this time and actually give them a bit more chance before going into the ground. And it looks like some cosmos starting to come up there as well, which is good. Got the strawberries. Looks like my young one might have nibbled that, or perhaps that's actually something else that's had that, but that's right. So the strawberries are starting to come along, which is nice. Looks like I've got some chard in here, which I obviously didn't remember. That's right, more poppies, which is fine. Many more poppies. The avocado is still alive. Actually looks like it's doing a bit better now, so I suspect that's enjoying the weather. Pineapple's still fine. The other pineapple is still fine in there somewhere. And we also have some kiwi fruit that are doing well here. I'm not entirely sure what this one is, because I think I actually did plant something other than just kiwi fruit, but that looks like the top of it has turned into a mushroom or something. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but the kiwi fruit, what I'm going to try and do is pot them on again once they're probably a bit bigger, and see if I can get them to grow on, because I can get them to a reasonable point, and then I just seem to accidentally kill them off after that. So I'll see if I can rectify that problem. So over this way we have some more strawberries that are looking nice. There's some snow peas, some mint. That's mint that I got with the pot from someone who's just getting rid of them, so I'm not entirely sure what. Actually, I think I did do a smell, and it's probably peppermint, I think. This was the first of the 2 big branches from that apple tree that I cut that seems to be alive. I probably need to water that, I suspect, because it's a bit dry. It's probably all right. But I'm not super fussed if that doesn't survive. It was just kind of a case of, I knew I was cutting it off. I thought, well, I can just put it in there and see what happens. This had some lettuce in it. I suspect that some snails have gotten to it, or it's just dried out. That's That's fine. This one is becoming more weed encrusted by the looks of it. Again, very satisfying when you can get the whole thing out. What seems to be happening here, though, because I think I actually had a whole bunch of garlic planted in here, and as you might be able to see, a lot of them sort of did this, they drooped. I think it might be that they're not getting enough sun here, which probably makes a lot of sense, but some of them seem to be putting up new shoots, so maybe I should put it into a sunnier spot and see how it goes like that. This may be ginger. I'm not entirely sure, because I did have some ginger that I put in this planter, but I don't know what ginger actually looks like when it grows. And otherwise, maybe I put some bulbs in, maybe the daffodils and things, but I don't think they've actually flowered, so we'll go with allium. That's probably what it is. And this one, I think these I'd actually say they're probably silver beet, and they look like they've sort of gone, and they're probably a bit beyond their good level. See, another one that seems to be growing up a new stalk, which is fine. And this is more parsley, I believe. So we'll go around the back here. Let's have a look. So what are these? This is I can't remember that I cut those back because they are the ones that sort of grow everywhere, grow vigorously. Same with this, actually. This grows quite vigorously and has done, because that was cut back as well. Bunch of weeds, but also we have our nice orange flowers in there. I don't think the camellia has survived, but if it has, then it can grow there. But I don't think it has. Never mind. But this is going to require a bit of squidging over here. Here is the main part of that dahlia. So this is the African Dawn, African Sunset. I can't remember. I can never remember the name of it is. But this is one that I ended up splitting. That's the one that's in the front there that seems to be doing well. The hebe, which is covered in weeds and things. I have to sort that out. The sweet peas starting to flower, which is good, and that's roughly in the area that I want. Obviously, if it can grow up over that, it'd be excellent. There's some more of them here. I think that's Swan River Daisy, but I can't remember. My orange that I'm growing from seed, I decided to give it a bit of a... It looks messy, because it is, but that's compost basically direct, so that's the same sort of stuff that I put on our compost. I thought, look, I'll just put the actual stuff there, a bunch of orange peels and things in it, and just see if that helps to enrich the soil there and keep the weeds down, basically. So we'll see how we go. So this is the second variety of lavender that I've got. So I've got 3 in the front yard, then I've got this one, and now I've got my grosso to see what that's like. Let's see if I can do this without interrupting the bees too much. Yeah, it's quite nice. Sounds good. Obviously the bees are enjoying that, so that's nice. More snapdragons. This is the fantastically growing apple tree. This is, again, so these are the 2 that I'm growing from seed. This is the one that had that fruit tree that was growing next to it, which may have been stunting its growth, so hopefully that'll pick up a bit now. But this is the one that's obviously taken to its position quite well and has just naturally formed that kind of goblet shape. I have pruned it a little bit, but it has naturally formed that wide open space. You can see actually here this branch is coming up through the middle, so at some point I might need to trim that. If I do, I'll have to do it the same way I did with the other apple tree, and plant them in the ground and see if it'll grow on. That area there's a bunch of grass and stuff that's come up, which isn't too bad. I've been keeping on top of the sticky weed reasonably well, but we'll figure out what to do. I'll probably end up growing pumpkins in there if I can, maybe a watermelon. Obviously it doesn't get as much sun because it's shaded a bit, but it might do all right. I think I did actually grow some pumpkins on this end, so if I just try and get them growing up through it, it'll help cover the ground, stop some of the weed cover. It'll give me a bunch of mulch at the very least at the end. I'll see how it goes. This, which I believe is a plum tree, has never fruited. Having said that, it's another one that I've grown from seed. I can't remember what sort it is in fly there. In other words, it means I don't know if it's from the small, it's like cherry plums that we find on the streets, or if it's one of the bigger ones from the store. And having said that, I did wonder, it actually is fruiting. So that's awesome. Anyway, I will leave it there. Obviously, I need to do a lot of weeding. I'm not very good at that. It'll get done in spits and spats, and by the time I clear one area, another area will grow up. But I've actually been doing little bits of work. So as much as I'm a full-time carer for my wife, I do occasionally get to do some filming work, and I'll try and remember to put a link in the description to one of the pieces I did recently, which has been released. But that's been keeping me a bit busy recently, which is good and a lot of fun, but it does mean less time in the garden as the weather's warming up. But anyway, thank you for watching, and happy gardening.